going on, everybody? Welcome back to another episode. Double M Racing here. Today we are starting body work, so stick around and enjoy the episode. Okay, I'm not even going to attempt to teach you guys fiberglass repair because I'm not any good at all. I just did it once on the fenders before the season started to get the car all prepped. But as you can see, we got a giant crack there, crack going down through there all the way down, crack there. We are cracked across there, crack down there, crack down there. What else we got? What else we got? We got a crack up here. This whole post was cracked in half. We've got a crack running all the way down through there. And just a little surface deal there. I can do that with body filler. And then another surface deal there that I can probably fix with body filler. So I'm gonna try to get, I guess we got some crackage there. That was cracking before. And then you can see this stuff's all just spider webbed out. So a lot of this is gonna be body filler. All I'm trying to do is get this thing not to the way it was, but in good enough shape to work on the race car. This stuff's just all for looks. So I can slap some fiberglass on there, sand it down and paint it up, and nobody's gonna tell whether it's a patch job or not, going 60 mile an hour, 70 mile an hour around a track from 50 feet away. That's all I care about. You got to look good going 50 from 50 feet away. It's a 50-50 rule. So mainly on this portion of the rebuild process, I'll just let you guys kind of watch along. I'm not going to give any tips or pointers on this because I know that I'm doing it wrong. I've watched a lot of fiberglass stuff on boats, and I still don't get it. It's a tough process. So, but my thought process is I'm going to tape everything back down on this side, flip it over, do my glassing from the inside of the body and get it hard and reset in there. And then I can come out here and kind of sand all this off and body fill, fiberglass fill, whatever I need to do there. So I'll let you guys watch along. I'll show you what I'm planning on doing. This is how I fixed my fenders after last season. I've got some chop strand here. You can pick that up I got mine at AutoZone. It's like $5 for a sheet of it. You need fiberglass resin. It comes with hardener. So I brush that resin on. All right, so here's my first attempt. Hopefully last. I'm not, like I said, I am not too extremely worried about how this looks. It's especially on the inside. Nobody's ever going to see the inside, so I'm just trying to get the shape back together. I got tape and tape holding it together so cracks will close tighter. I've got clamps and wood keeping stuff in place. So hopefully this fiberglass is dry. It takes about 6 hours for it to dry, for it to cure completely to where you can sand it. And so hopefully it cures good. I got that part repaired to the big nasty corner, 3, 4, and then B post that split all the way in half. I got those repaired, hopefully well enough to where I can get some rigidity back into the fiberglass body here, and then we can go in there and fill it up on the outside with filler and sand it and all that stuff. Get it repainted. So I failed to mention how much I absolutely hate fiberglass. If I failed to mention that, I hate fiberglass. I'm not any good at it, but hopefully I'm good enough to at least get the body back together here. So, all right, I will bring you guys back in later on whenever this stuff dries, and we continue on with it. Once that's cured, we'll flip the car over, and I've got this Bondo glass. This is Bondo with fiberglass mixed into it. That will go on the outside of the car. We'll do that over the top of the cracks and sand that down. Come back with body filler, which I got stuff there. Professional fast dry filler. It's supposed to dry in 15 minutes. So I probably don't want to mix a lot of that up at a time when you do this fast set stuff. Make yourself smaller batches so it doesn't harden up on you before you do it. But every single one of these has a hardener with it. You can see in the caps there's hardener in there. So make yourself batches that you can work with and get applied in a reasonable time. So that's my plan. Start with fiberglass, flip it over, Bondo glass, let that dry, sand that down, body filler, sand that down, prime and paint. That's the only steps I'm going to do on this to try to get the body back in shape. And I don't know how much these bodies cost. I haven't really seen a whole body for sale, but I know the fenders cost me $400. So I can only imagine, bodies probably $800, $700-800. I don't know. I can't find one. So this is definitely gonna save some moolah if it works. Okay, well, I'm waiting on fiberglass to dry. I might as well get started trying to straighten up some of these wires and making this look a little better, so I'll get on that. We got this stuff looking a little neater. This is my tack wire. So this goes through the firewall, this blue one. If you've got these Kyosho, these are or Koso, these are the INEX approved digital gauges. They read your RPM over here. It'll do a recall. You can hit the recall button and it'll tell you what your max RPM was. Temperature, if you want to hook up temperature. It also has a temperature warning light over here. It's got a shift light in it, and you can go in there and preset where you want your shift light at. Like I've got mine, I believe the max RPMs on the 1250 motors is like 10,500, 10,300, somewhere around there. I'm pretty sure it's 10,500 is what the chip is actually programmed at in that red box. It won't let it go above 10,500. So I've got one light set. It goes yellow at like 10,000 and turns red at 10,500. So I know that I'm getting close to my, because I don't really have time to sit there and pay attention where my tach's at, but I do see that light in my peripheral. So I know when I'm getting to yellow, I'm sitting at 10,000 RPM. And when it's red, I'm maxed out on RPM. So I've also got the gear indicator right there. And then I've got a power switch, a start button, and my fuel pump on and off. So on the back here, that's the black one's my ground wire, and I just run the tach. I don't want to know my temperature or anything like that, but there is a plug here that you can plug in. It comes with all the accessories. If you want to plug in a temperature deal to see what your temperature is. It's got a hot wire over here. I just run it off the hot on the bottom of my master. So whenever I turn my master switch on, it turns the gauge on. And then out of the back of your shift indicator, you've got two wires. You've got this red one, that's a fused one, and you've got this gray one. This gray one, I threw in the loom here. I wrote to rear, or no, I guess I wrote gear indicator on it. So that just has a quick connect. I won't zoom in there. It's got a quick connect on it that hooks up onto the side of your motor. And I'll show you all that when we plug everything back in, but I got everything cleaned back up here. I do remember now why there were such long wires. This is all the wire I took out. It was coiled up back there. Whenever I got the car, all this was moved back towards the gear shifter. And I didn't like it back there. I moved it back up here to the underneath the dash. So that is probably where a lot of that excess wire comes from. Let's see, that's a hot wire going into your start button. One of these goes out to the starter. Red, black, and yellow. That looks like it was in a loom at one point in time. I've got to rear on that because those three come out and they shoot down my tunnel of the car, and that actually goes back to my starter solenoid and my fuel pump is where those three wires go. I have got those kind of loomed together there. This black wire with the sheathing on there, that comes off of my master switch, and that goes to my fans. So that turns on my overhead fans. This red wire, it is tied in with the red, black, and white loom. That goes to my alternator. And then this little cluster here, I don't know what that goes to. I'm sure this is probably a factory deal. This ran through the firewall. Sorry. I have a bad habit of looking up ahead of my camera here instead of looking through it. This goes through the firewall, and it had the butt plugs on there, or butt connectors on there, and had this connector on the other side of it. So I had to cut that there to get that out of the engine bay area. But once I get all these back in the car, I'm gonna go ahead and put a wire loom around this. So you'll see a wire loom. I mean, I just had all these wires coming out into my bay area, into my engine bay, and they were just zip tied off to random stuff. So I'll actually, once I get this back in the car, I will put those in a wire loom so it looks nice and clean coming through there. So that electrical cleanup is done. All right, so here we are on the next day. Everything is dry. So I got the fiberglass on the hood. Fixed that crack there. So all this stuff hardened up pretty good down there. And then the body is all solid back here again with all the new fiberglass back there. So what I'm going to do next is come in, trim off all this excess with my grinder. We're going to come up here, we're going to sand everything down, all the cracks on the exterior, we're going to sand all that stuff. Sand all that down, and you can tell I didn't get it perfectly back. Of course, I did take the grinder and cut out so this set together better, but it's got the new fiberglass back there behind that to add strength. And we're going to come in, sand all this down, and fill it with that Bondo angel hair, or Bondo glass is what it's called. It's got the chop strand mixed in with the Bondo, and so we'll come in, fill all this in. We'll get all this. See if you can see. I mean, the surface isn't smooth, but with that Bondo glass, we'll come in, smooth all that back out, and once it dries, we'll be able to sand it back off. So I'll put you guys on time lapse so you can see that process. Guys, we are done with the fiberglassing process, hopefully. Got the hood all done. Again, this green stuff is the Bondo with angel hair fiberglass mixed in with it. It's called Bondo glass. I suck at this stuff. As I mentioned earlier, this is why I didn't try to teach you guys how to do it. I'll just let you watch me mess around with it. Got those areas fixed. This will require a lot of sanding down. Got the car areas fixed. This post here, this B post, man, that is a pain in the rear. Hopefully you don't ever have to try to fix one of those. It's such a thin area that it's hard to get anything on there, so that's going to take a lot of sanding to get that fixed. But got the back corners on. I just kind of glob it on there. Oh, try to shove it down in the cracks as best I can. You can see up here that corner that was caved in a little bit. I built it back up. You still do see like some seams and stuff. So, but when we come back in here and sand this down, like there's a seam there as well. And we'll sand this stuff back down as flush as we can, and then we'll come back in with body filler, sand that down before we do paint. And I'm trying to save as much graphics as I can. The sponsor that did the graphics for me, I hate asking people to do stuff over again just because of my stupid mistakes. But so you'll see me taping up. Before I paint everything, I'll tape all of these graphics up and, you know, touch up areas, spray this back in. And so I'll tape up all the graphics that I can before I come back in here and repaint, because there's still a bunch that are good. You know, the door plates, door panels over there are perfect. The rear trunk lid's still good. So I'll have them reprint a couple things. The top numbers, I'll probably have them redo the whole roof. I won't do anything with the striping. I'll have to have him reprint off our Macaulay Insurance stickers, but I'll probably relocate those to back here in the back, so get them off the fenders. But that's it. I will probably split this video up into 2 different parts. This will be the fiberglass part, and then we'll get on to the body filler and the painting part next. You can see too, I also left some dings in there as memories of the wreck for this year. We'll get back in there after this season's over with, because the main goal is to just get this structurally sound enough to get back on the car and go back out there on the track and start racing again. And so this off season, next year, we'll do a lot more body repairs and get her looking perfect again before we get her all wrapped up and ready for 2024. So, but this ought to get us by for now. Like I said, we'll sand that back down. Put body filler on, sand that down, then we'll come back in and repaint everything and get her ready to go back on the car when it's finished. But I appreciate you guys watching. Like, share, subscribe. If you have any comments about anything, any tips or tricks, you know, let me know. I am fairly fresh on this fiberglassing stuff, so I am learning as well. But I hate it so much that it's not something that I'll probably try to do very often. But having the fiberglass body on everything, you can save yourself money if you can at least learn how to kind of get stuff back together and looking decent again. So that's what I'm trying to do. All right, guys, see you in the next one.